Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is the best invention mankind has brought to society since Taco Bell introduced the Baja Blast. Well, in all seriousness, everybody, here is my final review of the week, and that is for Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. How's it going, everybody? Spencer here, and Red Letter Media reference aside, I have been waiting to talk about this game for a while. So, I don't think I've talked about Star Wars very much on this channel, or really on any of my podcasts very much, but I am a huge Star Wars fan with many asterisk signs next to it. Lego Star Wars especially is an interesting one for me. I grew up playing the first one at a friend's house, and we basically marathoned all three movies. And that final boss fight in co-op mode, anyone who's played it will tell you, it is very, very solid. And funnily enough, I've played every Lego Star Wars game except the Complete Saga and Lego Star Wars 3, which is doubly offensive because I had a PS3, and also I just never played Lego Star Wars 3 because I didn't hear a lot of good stuff about it, even though I love the Clone Wars. So I will probably rectify that at some point in my life, but Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga is here. It compiles episodes 1 through 9, and oh my gosh, that is a lot of game. While, interestingly enough, also having a lot of spots where I wish there was more game. This is an interesting game. I think TT Games, this has easily got to be their best game. It's without a doubt their biggest game they've ever done. But what's interesting is they focused on so many different aspects of trying to tell these stories from 9 very different movies, making them more comedic in tone while keeping their serious storytelling in parts, bringing in things that might be from people who liked the original Lego Star Wars. They might just like the prequels, the original trilogy, or maybe people out there who only like the sequel trilogy. I'm sure they exist out there. And then also trying to abide by people who might be into Star Wars through The Mandalorian. There's people who like the Clone Wars. I'm sorry, you might find this game a little lacking. There's just so many different ways to be into Star Wars nowadays that it's funny that even a game encompassing 9 movies still had many things in my brain where I was like, oh, I would have loved Star Wars Rebels, or oh, I would have loved a Mandalorian, or even a Book of Boba Fett set of levels. Like, it's such a large universe, even just incorporating the Skywalker story is a massive undertaking, and I think they do a good job with it, but there were a couple things I would have said that might have been improved in the story. Number one, I don't like that every movie had to have 5 main missions. I always felt like they were really uneven. Like, some missions might be super long, some missions might just be you're doing the pod race from episode 1. They're really all over the place in terms of quality as well. Some missions have you fighting, they're really cinematic, you're going to a lot of different areas, and then others feel kind of more similar. You're going in a narrow hallway, you're trying to escape from the First Order, stuff like that, and I like it. There was never a mission that I thought, this is bad. There's never a mission that's bad, but because the last major Lego Star Wars game I played was Lego The Force Awakens, and that stretched out this 2-hour movie into a almost 10-hour long game, it was so nice to see them kind of stretch their legs, really get to make these worlds feel interesting, and then to be restricted immediately. Like, if you compare Lego Force Awakens the game to how they do The Force Awakens and the Skywalker Saga, it's like they're 2 completely different development teams, even though for the most part it's still all TT Games. So I think the grand scope overall helped with things like the collectibles. The collectibles are awesome. There's over 1,000 bricks and puzzles to solve to get them. Like, 100%ing this game is going to be a Herculean task. There's over 25 planets, and even like the tiny planets in quotes are really big. There are a few planets that have a lot of areas like Coruscant and Tatooine, but even areas like a Kashyyyk or something where it's just here's one area, there's a lot to sink your teeth into. They put a lot of effort into levels I wouldn't even think, how do you make a planet out of Exegol? And they made a planet out of Exegol, and it looks crazy, and it's really cool to see this even in Lego form. So collectibles, character-wise, unlockables, they nailed it on that front. But I think if you're just playing this game, and I think there are probably a lot of people out there who might just want to, I'm playing through episode 1 through 9. I'm doing all of that. I don't want to do side missions. I don't want to do other stuff like that. I want to just experience the movies. It's not a great adaptation, but if you've seen them, there's a lot of fun things to laugh about. I think it taught me something interesting about each trilogy in a way I didn't really pick up, or maybe hadn't thought of in a long time. Like the prequel trilogy. The prequel trilogy has a lot of action. There's a lot of fun set pieces. There's a lot of the goofy, cringy moments are now a lot more funny because the game is very self-aware of itself. So I found myself loving almost every episode of the prequel trilogy. The original trilogy has such an attention to detail to those original movies. And by the way, shout out to the entire voice cast through episode 1 through 6. Everybody is killing it. It's either someone from the Clone Wars or a really good voice match. Even just the little things like how Princess Leia sounds more British in episode 4 and then loses it in episode 5 and 6. Little things like that. So many little attention to details are so fun. Unfortunately, the sequel trilogy gets totally robbed in terms of the voice acting department. Whoever they got to voice match, pretty much everybody except Daisy Ridley, doesn't sound anything like their character. Rey's voice match is fine, she gets the job done, but it's definitely not Daisy Ridley. The person who is Finn very much was not told to be like John Boyega. To the two individuals who had to voice match Oscar Isaacs as well as Adam Driver, I am very sorry. Neither of you two were directed in a way that conveyed that at all. The best thing that Kylo Ren has going for it is when the mask is on, but as most people will remember, not a lot of Kylo Ren with the mask on in episode 8 and the later part of episode 9, so it's just a really jarring experience, especially because Lego, again going back to Lego Force Awakens the game, that had the entire movie cast. I know that probably wouldn't have been possible for this, but I would have really loved it if they just blew their budget and got everybody back. Because they did it once for The Force Awakens, and even if we were, like, honestly, I almost would have preferred if they just took lines from the movie at that point, which I know not a lot of people like when they just take the lines from the movies, but the new voices were just so different than the character. It was really jarring and really took me out of the experience. But thankfully, there are still moments that shine. If you hate the dialogue in Episode 9, good news. This game will make fun of it for you. If you hate the ending of Episode 8, or if you love Episode 8, the things you'll love about Episode 8 or the things you hate about Episode 8, this game is very self-aware in a lot of ways and pokes fun of it in so many different things. I will say, a little bit of a spoiler, the fact that Episode 9 ending did not get dunked on or made fun of, or there was any joke about how that movie ends, is the strangest thing possible, because this game is making jokes at Star Wars' expense all the time. How that final line, which I won't spoil here, is not some joke or some silly thing seems really weird. I feel like we'll find down the line somewhere, oh, we were gonna make a joke, but then they're like, no, don't end it on a joke. It has to be serious. It's the end of Star Wars. All in all, the missions, I wish they were longer. The missions that are there are really, really fun, though. Even in the movies I didn't really care for, there are fun missions in Rise of Skywalker. I think Force Awakens is a little bit but I'm comparing an entire game compared to 5 missions there. The Last Jedi has an interesting kind of award it gets of being the most comprehensive in terms of adapting a movie into 5 levels. And a lot of that goes into, there's really not a lot happening in The Last Jedi in terms of progressing character from X to Y. So they get a little bit more fun stuff to chew on there. Either way, this is an awesome game. I know this review is pretty late, but I wanted to get my impressions out there as a longtime LEGO and a longtime Star Wars fan, and just say a couple of things of the game that's here. I really like it. It's not perfect. It's gonna be like one of the best 7s I play all year. Like, there's a lot that could be better with it. I wish some of the voice acting was better. There's definitely a lot of bugs. The DLC all being character packs is pretty weak, especially when there's almost no new voice acting. I like that there's stuff from Mandalorian. I like that there's stuff from The Bad Batch or the classic skins, but have those characters talk, have those fun interactions, because when this game has so much fan service of just saying, hey, what would happen if Han Solo talked to Ben Solo? This game answers those with little fun quips and moments when that's not distributed through the whole product, it sticks out like a sore thumb, especially when that product is something you have to pay extra money for. My hope is that they could do some campaign DLC maybe, just because this game took so long to make, and I gotta be honest, I would love to know why, because this game, outside of Rise of Skywalker, seemed pretty ready to release in 2020, so hopefully one day we find out why that took so long. Maybe it was because they were making 25 plus different open worlds, and that could be the case, because it definitely wasn't the single-player campaign. The single-player campaign can be beaten in less than like 15 hours, even for all 9 movies, and if you're trying to get multiple objectives. The real meat and potatoes of this whole game is just in free play mode. So that's there. I'm actually not one of those people who are like, oh, I'm gonna dock points that it doesn't have online co-op. I wish it had online co-op, but even playing it single-player or share play on PS5, it was totally fine. It was very, very fun. I understand why they don't, though. This is one of those games that a majority of its fan base is young and old. They're playing it by themselves, or they're playing it with, like, family or siblings and friends locally. There's very few people who actually play these online when you put those servers up there. So, definitely makes sense. So, yeah, not a perfect game. There's tons of bugs. It's an open world game. You're going to have lots of technical issues like that, but from my experience and everything I've played over probably almost like 20 hours now at this point, and still barely scratching the surface, I think I'm at like 30% in terms of getting everything collected. I have so much to do. I want to jump back into that world if I didn't have a bunch of other games to be playing and trying to make videos on and work on there. So it's going to be a game that'll be super fun to just keep popping back in for. And in a year that's been so busy, and especially with so many different large open worlds, it's been so nice to have something concise in terms of its single player, but then also have fun little collectibles or little puzzles or little moments in that open world. They really struck a good balance of, they nailed the single player story and they nailed the open world nature of everything. So TT Games, once again, you all did an awesome job. This has got to be one of the craziest projects you all have ever worked on, and just congratulations to the whole team for making that product. And everyone I've talked to about this game has absolutely loved it. Let me know what you think of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga in the comments below. What did you play it on? Did you play it on Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC? Let me know, and if you enjoy videos like this of me just kind of giving my impressions in a little quicker review format, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think. Really means a lot, and I appreciate any feedback you can all give me in the comments below. So thank you all so much, and I will see you later. Bye.